In today's video, we're going to be going over the four main business credit bureaus that you guys need to understand how each one of them play a vital role in building business credit. If you don't understand how each one works, then you're going to have a tougher time building business credit and achieving your short-term and long-term goals. So I'm going to break down the four main business credit bureaus: Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax PayNet, Experian Business, and Credit Safe. Are used by different underwriters. So if you're trying to get, say, a no PG business auto loan, then you want to focus on building up Dun & Bradstreet and Equifax in particular. If you're trying to get, say, business credit cards, business loans, financial products, then you really want to focus on Experian Business. But it's important to build up business credit across the board because every trade line that you get, 9 out of 10 times only report to one bureau. So if you're taking this journey, building up your business credit, why not do it the proper way and don't go in blind and wasting money on credit lines, trade lines that are ineffective for your particular goal? Because everybody's goal is different when it comes to building business credit. So by taking this information that I'm providing and dial in on the business credit lines and trade lines that are reporting to the desired business credit bureau based on your particular goal. And let me stress this out. Do not ignore any of the bureaus, regardless if you're trying to get financial products. If you have just a whole bunch of Experian trade lines reporting, but then you only have one or two on Dun & Bradstreet, that could also lead to some denials because some underwriters do secondary overflow credit checks. So the primary pull may be, say, for Sam's Club, no PG Business MasterCard, the underwriter is Synchrony. They're going to use your Experian Business Credit as the primary pull. But depending on if it's thin file and how much rich filmographic data is there about your business, if it's lacking things that doesn't pass their algorithm, then there could be an automated overflow application data that they're going to pull Equifax or Dun & Bradstreet to verify, say, address or other trade lines. So it's important for you to understand that. Take the time to listen to what I'm saying. Those that actually watch my boring videos and listen to every single thing that I say are the most successful ones. So we're going to jump right into it. Before I do, if you're interested in my one-on-one business credit mentorship, I have a few more spots open. Text 937-423-9954, day or night. We can schedule a free consultation even in the evening. It's 30% off. So definitely text if you're interested, and we can do a consultation to see if you would qualify for my one-on-one business credit mentorship and to see if it would be beneficial for you to take advantage of. Anyways, without further ado, let's jump over to it. I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible. So I put together this slide and wrote it for my one-on-one business credit mentorship students. So I'm not going to read word for word. I'm just going to give you the overview picture and try to remember that. I will have the link in the description below for the sheet, but please watch until the end. This isn't going to be too long. All right, so the overview of the four main business credit bureaus, understanding the role and application of each business credit bureau is essential for strategically building up business credit as quick as possible based on your particular goals as a business owner. So I'm going to give you a detailed breakdown with Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax Business, PayNet, Credit Safe, and Experian Business, as well as who actually uses each individual business credit bureau. So let's start the slide. First, I'm going to cover Dun & Bradstreet. That's what the majority of people that are trying to build up business credit think that they need to focus the most on, getting your Paydex score built up. That's further from the truth in 2024. Dun & Bradstreet was vital, I would say, years ago, 5, 10 years ago, even 20 years ago. Dun & Bradstreet was the one that pretty much every underwriter used. But things have changed due to several different reasons. But the main reason is reliability of the data that they're providing. I would say it's easier to manipulate Dun & Bradstreet's data using their self-reporting add-on service that they offer, but it's still widely used. So the most common underwriters that are going to be pulling Dun & Bradstreet are going to be industrial supply. So it could be, say, chemicals or warehouse facility supplies, things like that. Also, equipment leasing underwriters typically will pull Dun & Bradstreet as well. Computer parts like Newegg, ones like that, they're going to be pulling Dun & Bradstreet 90% of the time. Also, net 30 vendor credit providers. Not all are the same, but for instance, like packaging tape and cardboard suppliers, say like Uline, although Uline does look at Experian, but they also will look at Dun & Bradstreet, like Quill. Net 30 vendors that are, say, industry-based suppliers are going to typically use Dun & Bradstreet. So the overview I put together here, Dun & Bradstreet is a cornerstone in business credit reporting. Dun & Bradstreet's known for the whole Paydex score that goes from 0 to 100, 100 being the best. Everybody tries to shoot for an 80 or higher Paydex score with their DUNS number. But again, I want to stress out that Dun & Bradstreet is commonly used by industrial suppliers. Okay, next is Equifax, PayNet, frequently used for business auto financing, like the videos I've put out in the past, like the no personal guarantee, no PG business auto loans. Most of the time, the underwriters that do provide that are going to be pulling Equifax. Also like business fleets, business equipment leasing. So for instance, I would say out of the 4 business credit bureaus, Equifax and Dun & Bradstreet have a lot of the same type of clientele underwriters, decision making, because a lot of equipment leasing underwriters typically are going to be pulling Dun & Bradstreet and Equifax the most. And they could be pulling both at the same time as well. But Dun & Bradstreet and Equifax business, their clientele is pretty much kind of in line the same. So just to overview real quick, Equifax Business PayNet is known for its comprehensive credit assessments tailored towards business niche financing needs. It's particularly popular, like I said, with auto, especially no personal guarantee. That's what is going to be used the most, is going to be Equifax, and then an overflow could be Dun & Bradstreet. Not all, but the majority of the business auto financing lenders, underwriters are going to be using Equifax as the primary. Next is going to be Credit Safe. A lot of you guys probably have not heard of Credit Safe. It's not a very common one. However, Credit Safe is the largest business credit bureau in the world. But when I say the world, that's because they started in like Europe, and that's where they're massively big. That's like the Dun & Bradstreet in Europe for business credit. About 10 years ago, they started shifting over to building out their database presence in the US, North America for business credit. In the last 5 years, they're becoming more and more vital when it comes to building up business credit. They're very aggressively building out their database, and more underwriters are starting to use them. Credit Safe is popular for business identity data checks. So what I mean by that, you could be applying for, say, no PG business auto, or you could be applying, I don't know, let's just say a business credit card or fintech business credit card. They could be pulling, say, Experian as their primary, but their application algorithm is going to do a cross-reference database check with, say, Credit Safe to further verify the risk assessment on making the credit decisions for you, to verify your business address and the basic database information. You know, with Credit Safe, I have an account with them. I can pull other businesses' business credit and view all the payment terms, all that. But they also work with Equifax and their decision on the back end for their clientele and database underwriters making the decisions. It's also signaled by, to a certain degree, the family linkage of the business, the address, location. So on their back end, you could actually see if you have a virtual office, then they're going to be able to show like if it's like a virtual office or not versus standalone brick and mortar. So that's why Credit Safe is becoming more and more popular when it comes to risk assessment for business credit. So it's not a primary business credit bureau that's used by the majority underwriters. However, it, like I said, it is used as, say, a secondary and a risk assessment checks, because they do offer more in-depth review of, say, the family linkage, the business owner's past history, if they own other businesses, or what they're actually linked to. The other thing that they have is Credit Safe is also known, like Walt Disney, the NFL, if you're trying to get, say, licensing with them to do t-shirts or whatever with, say, Walt Disney or the NFL and several others, Walt Disney is going to be pulling credit safe. The NFL is going to be pulling credit safe to verify your business information, regardless if they're giving you a line of credit for licensing or it's going to be a prepaid, whatever it may be. But they're still going to do some verification checks within credit safe. So it's commonly used for that. Like I said, credit safe strength lies in its ability to deliver reliable identity verification and business credit data. So that's really where they shine, is like the identity part of the business and the business owner. Next is going to be Experian business. That's the most important for most businesses. If you're trying to get actual business credit cards, like behind me, all these, then you really want to focus the most on Experian business, because pretty much if it's financially related, Experian is going to be the one that's used. Even like the federal government, the IRS, the SBA, all uses Experian. So like I said, most commonly used for SBA lending, business bank lending, fintech lending, business gas cards, business credit cards, both with or without personal guarantee, like the Sam's Club No PG Business MasterCard, that's underwritten through Synchrony, and Synchrony is going to be pulling your Experian business credit. The underwriter for, say, Lowe's is also Synchrony, but for their Lowe's applications for the Net 55, they're going to be pulling Equifax business. So that goes down to, like I said before, industry supply, very similar, Dun & Bradstreet, and Equifax, it's an overflow application. So why the government uses Experian business credit, like SBA, and all the major banks are going to be pulling Experian business credit. Fintechs, 90% of the time, they're going to be pulling Experian business credit as a primary. You might ask why. That's because it's almost impossible to manipulate Experian business credit. And like I mentioned earlier, Dun & Bradstreet, there is ways that you can manipulate it. People do it all the time to influx the score and the data of the business. Experian, it's almost near impossible to do that. Even to become a data furnisher, you have to have Metro 2 format. That's not a cheap thing to do. You have to be licensed to be able to be the data furnisher with them and be accepted and have over 500 customers that you could report to. And then you submit that, and then it takes them a time to review it. And then they're going to tell you if you can become a data furnisher. But it's typically not going to be any new businesses that can be reporting to Experian business credit. That's why it's really easy to become a data furnisher for Equifax and Credit Safe, because they're really wanting to build up and get that data. However, like I said, that's why all the financial institutions, 90% of the time, are going to be using Experian business credit, because they know the data that's on there is reliable data that they can make sound underwriting credit decisions. It was like 3 or 4 years ago, Dun & Bradstreet had issues with people manipulating their business credit scores. That resulted in them losing a lot of their underwriters that pull Dun & Bradstreet. A majority of these financial institutions moved over to Experian business credit. One of them in particular is Citibank for business credit lines. So that's just what you want to understand about business credit. Each one plays a different role. Of course, you want to build them all out and don't neglect one over another, but at least knowing this information that I've just provided, it will help you start building up the business credit focused on what your short and long-term business credit goals are. That's another reason why my students are so successful that join my one-on-one business credit mentorship, because I understand all this. I study it day in and day out for almost 20 years now. But the last 5 years since I've had the YouTube channel, things change, underwriters switch, change, and every underwriter is different. Like Citibank doesn't really care too much about how many trade lines you have, but the requirement, regardless, for a lot of their approvals are going to be minimum 3 years in business. But if you have a thin file, they will still approve you. Unlike, say, Synchrony approves for, let's say, even like Lowe's and ConocoPhillips revolving business gas card, JCPenney's, even Sam's Club. I've seen approvals for 3, 4, 5-month-old businesses, but those approvals were focused and based on their Experian business credit report, showed a lot of trade lines and positive payment history. Big rule of thumb is going to be at least 6 months in business to really qualify the most for these Synchrony underwriting business credit products. So I hope that helps you make your decisions on how to strategically build up your business credit. And another thing is, there's a lot of these different trade lines being offered on YouTube that people promote that say they report to business credit bureaus, but they don't say who they report to. Don't trust those. The majority of credit lines are going to be reporting monthly, but it's very rare for them to report to all 4 of the business credit bureaus. Sometimes you'll get some of like the Experian business credit lines and certain gas cards and business credit cards will report to, say, Experian business credit and Dun & Bradstreet or Equifax. It's super rare to find any business credit line that reports to all 3 or all 4 business credit bureaus. So keep everything organized if you're really trying to build up your business credit properly. Don't get confused. Make a spreadsheet, put you got approved and who they report to, and then follow up and look, say after a month or 2 months, see if it reported. Anyways, with all that being said, if you guys are interested for my one-on-one business credit mentorship, it's 30% off right now. I currently have 2 or 3 spots open right now. So if you want to know more, get a free consultation, just text me right now, 937-423-9954. Take advantage of the 30% off because that's going away very soon. That will save you a lot of money. And I do offer payment. Anyways, with all that being said, you guys take care. I appreciate it. Until next time. Bye.